In the most recent patch notes, besides changes to heroes and artifacts, they also announced a change to the target debuff. Now, instead of doing 15% damage taken and 15% decrease evasion, it's 50% decrease evasion, which is a lot. 50% is a lot, and this is a pretty significant number because of a unit that has been terrorizing the game, which is Setsuka. Setsuka gives everybody 30% evasion, and for Setsuka herself, she has 30% plus 20 from Lethal Whispers or Shepherd of the Hollow. And somebody like BBK, a unit with no innate evasion, any thief can give themselves 50 evasion too because they'll get 30 from Setsuka and then 20 from an artifact like Shepherd of the Hollow. So this means that target now lets you consistently hit Setsuka plus any sort of unit that's with Setsuka, even if they have a 20% evasion artifact. You're still not going to be able to consistently hit units like Afternoon Soak Flan, or if you're running like I'm just like any unit with like more than 50% evasion, it won't be consistent. But the important thing is that we can hit Setsuka plus some of her friends. So let's go ahead and just see who this benefits really. We can search for target all units, and this is the 12, technically 11 units, because Wanda is one unit, that have target in their kits. Some of these are kind of fake, like Bologna, Shuri, and Riza all have their targets on their S1s, and they don't even have innate hit chance, so they're just going to miss their hit and not land the target. We can see Amui also has it on her S1. I actually don't know what these units do. Revna has it on her S3, but no hit chance. And then Godmother has it on her S1, also fake. Silk, surely it's on her S1. Yeah, it's on her S1 too. So these units here are all pretty fake. Let's take a look at the rest of them. Architect Laika also got buffed, so maybe we should take a look at her here instead. She got pretty big buffs in this patch. So now, well, S1 scales with speed. This inflicts target before giving her attack buff, so she has free attack buff, and then she gets an extra turn if they have target, and then this just does a bunch of damage. So this pretty much, she has target on one target, or on one unit, and can dispel 2 buffs. I want to see where her soul burn is. Her soul burn is on her S2, 20 souls ignore Ephra's. So she can ignore Ephra's, apply target to somebody. You're pretty much guaranteed to apply target, get your extra turn, and then do your big damage with your S3, which also now extincts, and she has self-attack buff. So she's definitely one of the biggest winners with the target change. I imagine the target change plus her being buffed at the same time was very intentional. She guarantees nuke somebody now, even if they have 50% evasion, which is really, really nice for her. So besides her non-ML form also benefits a lot from this, I think, because her S2 targets somebody, and then dual attacks with the ally. She gives greater attack buff first to the ally with the highest attack, and then triggers a dual attack. This scales up to 100%, of course, and she has an EE, which lets her dispel all buffs before using S2 now. There is no soul burn to ignore Ephra's, but it's still 100% dispel into target. 2 buff. It's all buffs dispelled, so you can't buff stack into it or anything. So I think she also benefits from it a lot because she doesn't have to be the actual DPS. She gives greater attack buff and then dual attack, so you can just pull pretty much any unit and snipe somebody. The consistency does leave a little bit to be desired without an ignore Ephra soul burn, but this should still be a pretty solid choice for this. We'll see how much she really gets used, because the thing is that, like, even with this in mind, she is going to have a rough time contesting other openers, and I don't know if just like this niche is good enough, especially because the consistency issue, where she's not going to be able to do it super consistently, but should be a pretty decent pick, and then, or like potentially a niche pick. The problem with using her in RTA and Guild War is the consistency thing. When you pick units there, you want a consistent one, so you're probably not going to be using Laika there, I'd imagine. The other one, Eligos. Eligos, I don't know how I feel about him, because he has, like, ignore Ephra's Soulburn, dispel into target, and this, I guess, guarantees that you can proc your S2, because this way, even if you shoot Setsuka or something, whoever's following up on you is going to be able to hit Setsuka no problem, or whoever like you're hitting. If Setsuka's on the team and you're hitting somebody else instead, So this should make him a little bit more consistent. I don't know if this will actually like do anything for him, but if you're using him, he'll be a bit more consistent now, which is nice. And then lastly, kind of just PvE usage, but Wanda, I think, gets a decent boost from this, because her S2 spams target, and when you're fighting Ethel, I think, she gives herself, in Trial of the Constellations, she gives herself 70% evasion at some point, and if you manage to land the target on her, that means she only has 20 evasion left. So any unit with Song of Stars, or not Song of Stars, Symbol of Unity, can start just hitting Ethel even during that phase when she has evasion. This should honestly speed up the fight a lot, because I feel like a large portion of that fight is really you just sit there waiting for the evasion buff to go away, which is kind of annoying. So being able to hit her while she's in evasion is going to be really, really nice. I actually like this a lot for Trial of the Constellations, which, I mean, it's going away soon, but I guess the last months will be a little bit easier. And then besides units that have targets in their kit, there's also Song of Stars, because I guess I can look for it here. Song of Stars is 100% chance to inflict target after a single target attack, and one important thing about artifacts is that they don't care about hit chance. Like, even if you miss, you'll still land the debuff. So this means that characters that don't have hit chance in their kit will still be able to land the target. We have to see who actually benefits from that. We'll just search for Rangers. And there's a lot of Rangers here, but I would say that for a unit to really benefit from Song of Stars like this, you want them to be a support of some type. The main ones I looked at were Lua, Sea Phantom Politis, and Veronica. Lua is probably the least relevant one, but you can S2, and even if you miss, you'll get your extra turn. And then you can S3 non-attack and still do things even if they have evasion, because it's not an attack skill. Only problem is if you miss, you're not going to dispel, so hitting somebody with immunity, you're not going to be able to land the target. This is like kind of old tech. People used to use this sometimes for various purposes, but I think this one's just kind of like, I don't think this is happening. Sea Phantom Politis, feel like I don't see her as much anymore, but you can dual attack with her, I guess. You would have to wait a turn because you have to S3 first, but after that, you can make it so your dual attacks always like hit. Well, barring 15%, assuming your Song of Stars lands the target, whoever you dual attack with will be able to hit through evasion, which could be kind of nice. I think she's probably like the main person that maybe Song of Stars works with. And then you also have Veronica, just because I think Veronica, especially in like Guild War and stuff, you have pretty flexible artifacts. So this just makes it so that like when you're using S3 and S1, you'll be able to apply target on people and have your other units hit through evasion. Could potentially be useful. Still subject to 15%, but I think she is like maybe just some sort of niche tech for her. Looking at everybody else, I don't really see anything useful here. One other thing to consider with Song of Stars is that like if you're fighting Setsuka, when you miss your initial hit, she's going to counter you, so that is something to keep in mind. Or any sort of like other evasion units that have sort of the counter in their kits or whatever. I feel like besides Architect Laika, maybe we'll be getting more units that apply target. It depends how much they want to like put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for Setsuka, because I mean Architect Laika is mostly just going to be a cleave unit, I think. Her damage is pretty high. Yeah, I think she like her buffs are really good, but maybe they'll release more target units. We'll see what they decide to do, but I just wanted to take a look at pretty much every unit that could potentially benefit from this target change.